We're finally gonna do it. We're gonna do
DEVLOGs.
or rather Raven. Um, yes, I'd like to discuss jump count today. As I was working away, I came across some coding that I did that I'll put it this way, most of the coding that I do ends up in like scrap piles. And then I go back and go, oh, you know what? I did do coding. I did accomplish something today. I accomplished the jump count. I got rid of the auto jump. Because when you're creating a game, there's nothing to get rid of your auto jump. If you just hold down the button, it's going to auto jump. If you're doing a game cover and your game cover doesn't have an auto jump, you may want that feature in there. So I did add a function, some lines of code, maybe like 9 lines of code that prevent you from jumping. So when he jumps, here I'll show you right now. When he jumps, jumps pretty good. There's a couple of things off on his jump. One thing I noticed is that he's not having the variations, the jump variations. I don't know where that went. Maybe when I coded this, the jump variations went away. Because it looks like there's just one jump on here. No. So maybe my coding's not that great. Anyways, I'll explain my coding anyways. This is the jump count, and what I did was made a number of 2. And when that number is 2, when I jump, it turns 0, right? You saw how when I landed back on the ground, it turned back to 2, which means I can jump again. So when I jump and hold down the button, it's still 0. When I release it, it goes to number 2. So speaking of number 2s, because he doesn't have the variable jumping on here, maybe I silenced it out or something like that. I don't know, but I'll have to go back and look and see. This is not my main piece that I'm working on. This is just to show you the jump count and how you can limit auto jumping if you need to. There's all kinds of coding on that game cover that I'm doing, on this game cover that I'm doing. There's all different types of code. Pretty genius stuff. I'm so intrigued at it, and I've been coding for like days on end, where I'm a little maybe even burnt out to code right now, which is why I kind of like making this devlog. It's like once in a while I really enjoy getting these out, and hopefully someone will see them. But right now I just like getting them out just for the meantime of kind of try to get away from the coding for a day, or for a short time. And video games too. It's more about movie clips and stuff right now, not so much the game. Okay, so back to what I was saying. I guess he has turbo on here. No, he doesn't. Yeah, this isn't my main one, but he's pretty good. But this is the one I first started that got the jump count. I mean, you could make a game with this, but there's no variable jumping, and when he jumps, he can turn. You may like that as a feature, you may not. I know, like, you can't jump in backwards when you jump up and jumping backwards. That feature, it doesn't go back too far, and he stays facing one way. It just depends on what kind of features you want. I guess I'm set on getting stuff a little bit too perfect. And that's what really kind of I guess it gets into my mind, just kind of eats something away within myself, you know. I was coding for days, and when I went to sleep and woke up, I kept on going back, taking naps and stuff. That's how much I've been coding, and I didn't get really anything done. You can have bad days like that, you know, or that can happen. Um, so yes, this is why I'm eager to speak with you guys. Okay, I'll probably show you the coding. I just put sound on this to show you this, what I've been working on. Everything's probably proportional. And Mario measured at like 30 by 25, and turns out he's probably more about 40 by 25. And I don't know if I did a devlog on calibration, but if I didn't do a devlog on calibration, that will be my next devlog, is calibrating, because I did go back and we readjusted things and got everything correct, such as ratios, screen ratios, and stuff like that. So everything can be more proportional. You could set like grid lines up in there and stuff like that, and snap objects to grid lines. However, you do need a default setting for tiles and characters and stuff like that, you know. Alright, so a little bit about the coding we'll get out of this, and we'll look at the coding. What we did here, we just made a quick list of the steps that we took to actually create this anti-machine gun jumping, auto jumping. Okay, so the step-by-step, the fast way, no searching through codes trying to find this stuff. Especially if you've had a long time off coding, you don't really want to study sometimes. You just want to get like the basic facts and do it on your own. I know there's coding out there that can make this a lot easier, that is presented, you know. However, I like to figure out things my way. I think I sort of get a joy out of that. At the same time, it's sort of my poison too. So with that said, here is the key steps that we did take for anti-jumping. Okay, the first step that we took, we create a variable called Jumpcount 1. So it's at 1. And that's at the top of our script coding. And then we added the jump. We changed that from like 16 or 14 to 25. My jumps go from anywhere from 14 to 25. It just depends on what the code is actually doing to my character. And after that, we have this third step, and if the key's down, so if you're hitting the jump button and not jumping, and the jump count is greater or equal to 2, it's not going to go past 2. It has never gone past 2. Jumping is true, because now you're jumping. Well, we had 1 count, right? How did that get to 2, you ask, probably, since we just have a jump count. We'll get there. Okay, but right now he's just jumping, and jumping is true, and jump count is 0. So when he jumps, jump count is 0. You can't jump anymore. And then the sound, the jump sound. After the jump sound, you're jumping, and your jump count equals 0. If you're jumping, your jump count equals 0. So I stated that just so it knows. And we probably do need that. I don't know why I have 2, if I could take 1 out or not. But to be honest, if I put 2, 2 is probably needed. Sometimes you got to double code lines like that. Sometimes you got to double code scripts and all kinds of stuff. And that's where your mind can go haywire and boggy and stuff like that. You can really bounce your head off stuff. Just like if you were doing it on the game, things can get crazy. And the funny thing about this stuff is, like, if you put a lot of gravity on a character, you can feel it. It's weird. It's like real gravity, because you can feel it, you know? It's weird like that. Okay, so this next one is adjusted the velocity jump. So this is how I adjusted my velocity jumps. And that's just a 1.9. The other one's a 2.5, right? So that puts a lot of weight on the jumps. So maybe if I put this to 2.0 and take that down to like 17, it'd probably jump a little bit better. So when the key is up, the next line is the key's up. His velocity is 2, and it goes to number 5. This is also the gravity. So whether, if you have, you know how like in the original game you can jump, and when you jump, if you release the button, gravity comes down. He's forced to put more gravity. So that's what this is. It's when you release it, it forces gravity, more gravity down. So that's what that step is. And then this one is when he does have gravity and the key is held down. He just goes kind of shooting. Okay, so this is at the bottom of my script. If he's not jumping and the key is up, so if he lands and he's not jumping, and you release the button, that's where you get your other jump count. So I put this here to recode it, to support that. I put +2. They're basically the same thing, but this just makes it +2 equals +2, +1 +2. So either way, it's going to be +2. Okay, so that's how he gets +2. So when it's +2, like we stated earlier, up here, jump count is greater or equal to, then he can jump. And the speed is 0. When he's 0, he goes back to the still frame. So, that being said, I'll go back to him and view that. Okay, so you can see it's 2, and when he jumps, it turns 0. And you gotta press it again in order to jump. So it's never gonna break, which is good. That's like one thing that never breaks. Okay, I don't see much in difference in my velocity. Usually I have like 2 jumps on there that are, I must have just decoded it, or it's in my other scripts or something like that. So with that said, no big deal. You guys got a little viewing of how to take your anti-jump down, so you have to press it. So it's not one of those games where you just hold the button down and do nothing. You know, you want to support your reflexes and stuff like that. Sometimes games aren't that fun. You can auto jump. I mean, you kind of feel like a geek if you just auto jump through a level, you know what I'm saying? So anyways, that's it for the coding of today and this devlog. Thank you for listening and viewing. Hope this helps. Hope it helps me too in the future. I'll probably look here first before anything to refresh my mind. So I'll be using these devlogs as well, which is why we'll be throwing some of the scripts on here and stuff like that. Alright. Well, thank you. Have a nice day.